Chapter 61 The Fourth Ninja War, begins. You are listening at novelfull.audio. With Uchiha Madara worried about Izuna's eagerness, many days passed, then, 7 days later in Konoha, thanks to Tsunade's proactive help, over 1,500 elite ninjas had assembled, and that's not even counting the root ninjas. The total number of ninjas gathered in Konoha exceeded 2,000. By now, pretty much everyone in Konoha knew the Fourth Ninja War was about to kick off, and this time, it would be unlike anything they'd ever seen. The 5 major countries, and even smaller nations throughout the ninja world, would all be involved, and it was their own Konoha ninja village in the Land of Fire that was starting it all. News had spread far and wide. The other 4 great nations, Earth, Wind, Water, and Lightning, were rumored to be teaming up to stop Madara's war. It was said Madara had some kind of trick that allowed him to split himself in 2, meaning there were now 2 Madaras running around. Naturally, everyone freaked out. 1 Madara was bad enough, but 2. It was too much. Meanwhile, atop Konoha's gate, Chen Yiban, Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Izuna stood as a formidable trio above the city wall. The brothers crossed their arms, surveying the scene below. A massive group of Konoha ninjas and countless white Zetsu were streaming out of the gates, heading for the battlefield. The 3 of them watched the long procession of ninjas leaving the city. The unification of the ninja world starts today. Madara declared, arms still crossed. With the combined power of you 2, my brothers. Izuna added, his eyes unwavering. Chen Yiban chuckled, I hear the other 4 nations are joining forces to resist us. Think they stand a chance? He smirked. Izuna's eyes flashed. You 2 don't even need to lift a finger. I can take down that so-called ninja alliance all by myself. ****, his Sharingan blazed to life. Izuna, your eyes. Madara looked surprised. Izuna had reawakened the Mangekyō Sharingan. Izuna, Chen Yi said, equally surprised. I'm your little brother, Uchiha Izuna. Izuna replied, a smile on his face, his kaleidoscope eyes shining. Then, ****, cyan chakra exploded around him. Suddenly, a Susanoo, bigger than the Konoha wall itself, towered beside the gate. The Konoha ninjas streaming out of the gate gasped. The fear Chen Yiban's shadow clone Susanoo had instilled in them resurfaced. Even the white Zetsu hesitated, taking a few steps back. The entire line came to a standstill, bordering on chaos. Don't be afraid. Keep moving. I'll be keeping an eye on you. Izuna shouted from within the massive blue Susanoo. Keep marching. His eyes flashed ominously. Yes, sir. The ninjas, still shaken, reluctantly continued to line up. Izuna, in his giant Susanoo, walked slowly alongside the team, his heavy steps adding to the pressure, but it was also inspiring. After all, this was the power they would be fighting alongside. Izuna was on their side. And the stronger their teammates, the easier the fight would be, right? Who is that guy? How does he have Madara's Susanoo and the Sharingan? I heard he's Madara's little brother, Uchiha Izuna. Really? He looks strong. Madara and the others are the strongest. They say that meteorite that fell on Konoha was summoned by Madara. No way. With the strength Madara and Izuna are showing, nobody in the ninja world can beat them. This war might be huge, but it'll be over fast. Yeah, nobody can touch Madara and Izuna. Hey, I heard Madara and the others awakened the eyes of the Sage of 6 Paths, the Rinnegan. Seriously? The ninjas whispered as they marched, eyes fixed on the towering blue Susanoo. No talking. Izuna's voice boomed from within. Yes, Master Izuna. The ninjas snapped to attention, seeing this. Ha! Madara and Chen Yiban smiled knowingly. Swish, 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 swish ***, figures landed on the wall beside them, Nagato, Konan, Kisame, and the rest of Akatsuki. Madara. They bowed in unison. Good, Chen Yiban and Madara nodded. Finally, I get to start killing people again. It's been too long since I made a proper sacrifice to my Dark Lord. Haiden exclaimed, excited at the prospect of war. The leader wants to unify the ninja world, not have you sacrifice to your god, Sasori reminded him. Still, it's a chance to make some cash, Kakuzu added, a sneer on his face. The loot in Konoha's treasury was impressive. Wonder what the other countries are hiding. Nagato and I obey Madara's orders, Konan said calmly, glancing at Nagato. Same here, Kisame showed his teeth, Chen Yiban and Madara exchanged a look, then nodded. Alright, let's go. Chen Yiban said with a smile, swish, 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 swish dash star, they jumped down from the wall. At the same moment, Chen Yiban, Madara, and Akatsuki turned around. Behind them, Tsunade, Kakashi, Shikaku, Choji, Tenten, Kurenai, Anko, and other prominent Konoha ninjas were waiting for them at the gate. Ready to go? Tsunade asked, smiling at the two Madaras. Madara didn't reply, but turned and walked away. Let's roll. Chen Yiban said, pointing forward. Meanwhile, the other four great nations had gathered in the desert near the Land of Wind, forming a massive ninja alliance, their mission, to stand against the two Madaras. Thus, the Fourth Ninja War began. Chapter 62, Die While Dancing or Surrender. Choose. You are listening at novelfull.audio. 2 days later, in the vast desert near the Land of Wind, camp stretched for miles across the sandy landscape. Thousands of temporary shelters dotted the area. Ninja from nearly every nation, led by the 5 great shinobi countries, had converged on this desert. The total number of gathered ninja exceeded 100,000. Besides the 4 great nations of earth, water, lightning, and wind, smaller countries like Star, Waterfall, Snow, Iron, and Grass answered the call and were present. Nearly the entire ninja world had formed a massive coalition force, inside the command tent. Bang, Star. That motor jerk. He actually dares to send troops to fight. The normally calm Reikage was furious, slamming his fist on the desk in front of him as he stared at the intelligence report in his hand. The report confirmed that 2 Uchiha Madaras had deployed troops from Konoha 2 days prior and were rapidly approaching the battlefield. Reikage continued, does Uchiha Madara really think he can take on the entire ninja world with his power alone? Even if he is a legendary ninja. Mizukage Terumi Mei added from around the desk. Due to the 4th Mizukage's recent death, Terumi Mei was appointed the 5th Mizukage, and she was notably younger than depicted in the original timeline. Similarly, Kazekage Gaara was now the leader of the Hidden Sand Village. Even if the 4th Kazekage had died and Maki and the others were inclined to let Gaara, who had changed, assume the position of 5th generation, they were supposed to wait for Gaara to continue to grow for a while. However, it is also the same reason for taking orders in times of crisis, because the behavior of the 2 Uchiha Madaras almost declared war on the entire ninja world. So, Gaara and Terumi Mei were in a similar situation, becoming Kage during this crisis. Gaara was the youngest among the leaders gathered around the table. Madara's always been arrogant, Tsuchika Jinoki stated, a hint of the past in his eyes. But can even the legendary Uchiha Madara truly stand against nearly all the ninja of the world? Asked the Hashikage of the Star Village, whose nation was not formally recognized by the larger powers. Also present were the leaders of the smaller hidden villages, such as Snow, Grass, and Iron, though some remained silent, lost in thought. What strategy should we develop to counter these 2 Uchiha Madaras? Gaara asked, addressing the group. The other Kage and village leaders exchanged glances, surprised by Gaara's maturity despite his youth. This generation's Kazekage is too young, Reikage remarked, a hint of arrogance in his voice. Is my age the topic of this meeting? Gaara replied calmly, maintaining his composure. Humph. Reikage grunted, ending the exchange. Tsuchika Jinoki, snapping out of his thoughts, said, Konoha is now controlled by these 2 Uchiha Madaras, and they control the 9-tailed demon fox. Our best bet is to try to persuade Konoha to turn against them. If not, then we have no choice but to fight. Tadanoki's words hung in the air. Rumor has it Madara Uchiha also possesses the legendary Sage of 6 Paths Rinnegan, giving him even more terrifying power. Is that true? Terumi Mei mused, a playful smile on her face. Legend claims the Sage of Six Paths Rinnegan can control life and death, making it a terrifying power of creation and destruction. Mifune of the Land of Iron added thoughtfully, bang, star. Reikage slammed his fist on the table again, shouting, stop undermining our confidence. We're a super coalition of nearly every ninja in the world. Even if they have 10 motors, what's there to be afraid of? He stood up, energized. Inoki chuckled. Reikage, settle down. Your enthusiasm is appreciated. Our land of water isn't about to surrender without a fight, Terumi Mei said, smiling. Then trying to persuade us to return to Konoha Ninja Village to join us in resisting Uchiha Madara will be our first step strategy, Gaara said slowly. Uzumaki Naruto. During this time, a figure with yellow hair appeared in Gaara's mind. I hope we won't meet again on the battlefield. Just then, swish, star. A coalition ninja burst into the tent from outside. My lords! Konoha Motor, they're here. He knelt and delivered his report. Already, the Kage exchanged worried glances. Legendary ninja Uchiha Madara, I wonder if you melt easily. Terumi Mei thought, wiping the corner of her mouth with her hand, smiling softly. Meanwhile, a few miles from the Ninja Alliance camp, a force of over 50,000 Konoha ninja and White Zetsu soldiers advanced slowly. Swish, 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 star. 3 figures descended from the sky a kilometer outside the camp. Chen Yiban, Uchiha Madara, and Uchiha Izuna, the leaders, had arrived. Each of them activated their Sharingan, fixing their scarlet gaze on the massive ninja coalition before them, as the Konoha and White Zetsu forces caught up. Thousands of ninja from the coalition poured out of the camp like ants. The two sides faced each other, a clash between fire and water. The 8 remaining tailed beast Jinchuriki also appeared on the Ninja Alliance side. Madara activated his eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, stepping onto a large rock. I declare the 4th ninja war begins now. Join me or die in a rabble. He shouted. Chapter 63 Izuna, Mangekyō Sharingan, Qifei. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Alright, you sheep, I watched as Madara stepped forward, facing the tens of thousands of Ninja Alliance troops, and shouted, arms crossed. He stood on a rock, radiating arrogance. His bizarre, beautiful eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, as red as blood, sent shivers down the spines of countless Alliance ninjas, even hundreds of yards away. Wait, is that the legendary ninja, Uchiha Madara? Are those the Mangekyō Sharingan the Uchiha clan talks about? That chakra, it's freezing. Across the way, countless ninjas in the Alliance, wearing headbands with the Nin symbol, stared at Madara, their bodies tense. The pressure was immense, and they nervously swallowed. Uchiha Madara's presence alone was overwhelming the entire ninja coalition. That's the legendary Uchiha Madara. Are there really 2 of them? At the front of the coalition, Gaara, Mei Terumi, and others looked at Madara, clad in red armor with long, waist-length hair, their faces a mixture of curiosity and concern. A mob? Hope you're not too easily melted. But you're way too cocky. Mei Terumi was the first to respond to Madara's taunt, her voice laced with acid. Exactly. Madara, no matter how strong you are, you can't beat the combined might of so many of us. We've got over 100,000 brave ninjas here. Inoki boomed, trying to rally their spirits. He emphasized the sheer number and bravery of the Ninja Alliance, and it worked. Yeah, we're over 100,000 strong. So what if he's a legendary ninja? We'll fight to the death with all the Kages. Bring it on. We're not afraid of you. The coalition forces erupted, their morale boosted by Inoki's words. Seeing this, Uchiha Madara slowly clenched his fists, his expression turning icy. As expected, just a rabble. You've made a terrible choice. Infinite murderous intent blazed in his eternal Mangekyō eyes. The unification of the ninja world is my goal. Anyone who stands in my way, dies. Chen Yiban began to step forward too, as Tsunade, Kakashi, Yuhi Kurenai and others watched from behind. You wouldn't listen. Fine, I'll make you fear, surrender. Despair, but suddenly, as Chen Yiban walked to Uchiha Madara, a hand shot out and grabbed them both. Izuna. Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara turned, confusion etched on their faces. Uchiha Izuna smiled, looking at the two Nisans in front of him. Don't let anyone else take action. I want to challenge the entire ninja alliance myself. Is that so? Chen Yiban smiled faintly and nodded at Quan Nai. Izuna, you were only just resurrected, and the new Mangekyō Sharingan has just awakened, but... Uchiha Madara hesitated. Nisan, don't underestimate your brother. Izuna's eyes were firm. All right. I understand. Madara finally agreed. Be careful, Izuna. Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara warned him simultaneously. Yeah. Quan Nai gave a light smile, then, as he stepped past his brothers, Izuna's eyes turned cold, radiating fighting spirit and murderous intent. Let's fight. Weaklings huddling together for warmth. In the next moment, Uchiha Izuna stood alone, facing 100,000 ninja alliance members. Insolent. Reikage shouted angrily. A handsome guy. Is he an Uchiha too? Terumi Mei mused, hands clasped in front of her. No girl likes a guy who's not polite. Anoki's granddaughter, Kuratsuchi, abruptly formed the hand seal. Earth release, quicklime seal. Using her chakra, she hurled a sharpened rock from beneath the sand at the advancing Uchiha Izuna, *whoosh, star. Izuna casually turned his head, dodging the rock aimed at his face. Boss, want me to help him out? Deidara asked Ban and Madara, eager to jump into the fray. Hold on. Quan Nai wants to play solo for a bit, let him. Chen Yiban waved him off. Okay. Deidara grumbled, clearly disappointed. He really wanted to be the first one to attack. Across the battlefield. Take him out. Reikage glanced at a ninja beside him and barked the order. Yes, Reikage-sama. The ninja named Nozomi immediately charged forward, blade in hand. Big brother always leaves me out. Jerk. Idiot. Kurabi, who had been training for 2.5 years, started rapping and dancing. Shut up, B. Reikage snapped, giving Kurabi a sharp whack, at that moment. Mangekyō Sharingan, bloody mist eruption. Uchiha Izuna slowly revealed his Mangekyō Sharingan, eyes as red as fresh blood, *sing, star. As the Kumogakure ninja, Nozomi, charged within 30 yards of Uchiha Izuna, the latter activated his Mangekyō Sharingan I technique. Instantly, the ninja from Hidden Cloud Village, froze in his tracks, then, *thump, star. He collapsed to the ground, dead. Darui, Omoi, and the other ninjas from Yunin village exclaimed in shock. Reikage was both surprised and enraged. Bastard, what did you do? The countless ninjas in the Ninja Alliance stared at Uchiha Izuna, a wave of horror washing over them, because no one knew how the Hidden Cloud Village ninja, had died. All they knew was that he had fallen the moment he entered within 30 yards of the enemy. On the Konoha side, Kakashi, Tsunade, Yuhi Kurinai, Mitarashi Anko, and all the Konoha ninjas stared at Uchiha Izuna's back in disbelief. Unbelievable. What just happened? The Mangekyō Sharingan Sai technique. It's some kind of Mangekyō Sharingan power. The range seems to be 30 yards. Everyone, remember to stay at least 30 yards away from the enemy. Remember, don't get within 30 yards of him, or you'll die. Tsuchikage, the little old man Anoki, immediately analyzed the situation and warned the coalition ninjas. The legendary Mangekyō Sharingan Sai technique is actually so terrifying. The ninja coalition's morale, which had just been boosted, plummeted into shock and fear of Uchiha Izuna. Across the battlefield, Uchiha Madara commented, so that's the eye technique of Izuna's current Mangekyō Sharingan. Chen Yiban mused, an eye technique that controls the blood temperature in other people's bodies. Interesting. Just now, the blood in Shi's body had completely frozen. Bloody mist eruption. A truly terrifying eye technique. Chapter 64 Uchiha Izuna vs Ninja Alliance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara both activated their Sharingan, the crimson eyes swirling with power. Madara peered into the internal state of the Cloud Village ninja who just collapsed. He saw that the moment she stepped within 30 meters of Izuna, the blood in his body froze almost instantly, instant death, his heart, his organs, all frozen solid. Even the blood in his brain had crystallized, no way anyone could survive that. Blood. It's his blood. It froze solid. Ao, standing beside Mizukage Terumi Mei at Kirigakure, activated his Byakugan. With its superior clarity, Ao saw even more than Chen Yiban and Madara. He'd witnessed everything that led to Shi's fatal rush. A Mangekyō Sharingan technique that freezes blood? That's terrifying, Mei Terumi breathed, clearly shaken. Everyone, be careful, Anoki warned. Remember, his range is 30 meters. Then keep your distance and fight, Gaara suggested. Gaara glanced at the Konoha team across the battlefield, but Naruto wasn't there. Didn't he come to war? A flicker of regret, but mostly relief washed over Gaara. He didn't want to face Naruto here, didn't want to be enemies again on the battlefield. Exactly. Anoki agreed, nodding. Everyone, keep your distance. Use ninjutsu from afar, but be extremely careful about using genjutsu on the Uchiha. Drawing on his own experience, Anoki cautioned the allied shinobi forces, simultaneously. Earth Style, Stone Golem Technique. Anoki launched the same Earth-style jutsu his granddaughter had used earlier. Chakra surged through the earth, ripping loose countless jagged boulders and hurling them at Uchiha Izuna, 100 meters away. Whoosh! 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 Izuna leaped and dodged, narrowly avoiding the barrage of stone. Once clear, Izuna drew his ninja sword. Swish! He shot toward the allied shinobi forces at incredible speed. Izuna, Madara murmured, watching intently, Sharingan eyes locked on his brother. He was ready to intervene at the first sign of danger. Izuna's Mangekyō ability is strong, he should be fine. Chen Yiban said with a smile. Honestly, with Izuna's awakened Mangekyō Sharingan, even someone at the Six Paths level could get blindsided. Instantly freezing someone's blood was a frightening power. Madara didn't reply, his Sharingan eyes focused on Izuna's charge toward the allied forces, silent and intense, on the other side. Stop him. Don't let him get close, Anoki bellowed, watching Izuna close the distance. Even with 100,000 shinobi strong, many in the alliance felt a surge of fear as Izuna approached. Subconsciously, they recoiled. It seemed absurd. But the thought of Izuna's terrifying ability, the instant blood freeze, struck fear into countless hearts. Earth Style. Anoki was the first to act, summoning walls of rock to slam into the charging Izuna, to crush him into paste. But Izuna, moving with lightning speed, focused his Mangekyō Sharingan. A blast of blue chakra erupted from him. In a flash, it coalesced into a towering Susanoo. The massive, blue-armored warrior rose to dozens of meters in height. Bang! 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 A single punch from the Susanoo shattered the approaching earth walls. Susanoo. Anoki frowned. What a powerful, chilling chakra. Terumi Mei's eyes widened, but... Lava Style, Melting Apparition Technique. Mei Terumi unleashed her bloodline limit jutsu. Fire Style, Great Fire Annihilation. Inside the Susanoo, Izuna launched a massive torrent of flame. The intense heat of the fire style collided with the corrosive power of the lava style, creating clouds of acidic steam that ate away at the ground. The shinobi at the scene gasped. Amazing! Senju Nashu, resurrected and newly arrived to the battlefield on Konoha's side, exclaimed, looking at Izuna's Susanoo and Great Fire Annihilation. Nashu was impressed, and the sheer audacity of taking on so many enemies alone earned him respect. But just then, sand gathered, wrapping around Izuna's Susanoo. Gaara. The sand rose from the ground, catching Izuna off guard as it constricted his Susanoo like a giant python. Now's our chance, Gaara roared, as the sand bound Izuna. Here we go. You fool. Kurabi transformed into his half-tailed beast form and charged a tailed beast bomb. Boom. He fired it point blank at the trapped, blue Susanoo. Everything happened in a matter of seconds. Izuna realized, in the blink of an eye, a tailed beast bomb was hurtling towards him. Izuna! Madara cried out. Chen Yiban frowned. Critical moment. Blood cascade. A ripple of power erupted from Izuna's Mangekyō Sharingan. Hiss. The tailed beast bomb faltered, its size and speed dramatically reduced, just enough time. Bang. Izuna ripped free from Gaara's sand, summoning a chakra blade and slicing through the weakened tailed beast bomb. A massive explosion rocked the battlefield. How? How can his Mangekyō Sharingan affect the power of the tailed beasts? Anoki asked, bewildered. Chapter 65, Izuna is injured and Madara comes on the scene in anger. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Seeing Izuna Uchiha pull out another eye technique at the last second, Chen Yiban was genuinely surprised. Izuna, Madara Uchiha said, his worry melting into a slow smile. Looks like Izuna's got himself a nice pair of eyes. Madara was clearly happy for his little brother. Yep, Chen Yiban agreed, analyzing aloud. Izuna's Mangekyō probably doesn't just control the temperature of blood. It's more precise than that. It should control the activity of all energy and heat. Shura Qifei can reduce the changes in all energy and heat, including blood. These eyes are a real prize. Chen Yiban's interest was piqued. Uchiha Izuna's Mangekyō Sharingan eye technique was seriously unique. This move could work. Even someone at the 6 paths level could take a major hit without seeing it coming. There's a range limit, though. 30 meters. Still, that's crazy powerful. If it wasn't Uchiha Izuna, Chen Yiban might have just swiped his eyes. Fuse him for myself. Guess we'll have to see if the system lets me pull blood Qifei in a future lottery. Shameless bastard. Moron. Karabi, now in his tailed beast form, saw his tailed beast bomb get wrecked and started his rap again. Swish star. Suddenly, the entire ninja alliance froze as a shot of 8-plate Magatama ripped through the smoke, headed straight for Karabi. Karabi, in his tailed beast form, was stunned for a second, then realized what was up. Bang. Several huge tails, covered in armored plates, smacked away the incoming 8-plate Magatama. It was the 3-tailed Jinchuriki. Unlike the 4th Mizukage in the original story, this time the 3-tailed Jinchuriki was some random ninja from the Hidden Mist village. Chen Yiban's arrival had changed things. Yo, thanks, my good dude. Karabi said to the 3-tailed Jinchuriki, wrapping his thanks. No problem. The 3-tailed Jinchuriki replied, shaking his head slightly. Bye, get serious. Reikage shouted. Then, it happened again. Swish, 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 swish star. Multiple chains of 8-plate Magatama projectiles fired toward the ninja alliance from the dissipating smoke and dust. So many. They're fast. Stop those things. Earth-style jutsu. Bang, bang, bang star. The 8-plate Magatama were lightning fast, and although countless ninjas in the alliance reacted, they couldn't create earth walls fast enough. It was too late. Boom, boom, boom star. Ugh. Time's end. The 8-plate Magatama exploded on contact, ripping through the ninja alliance. Instantly, the alliance suffered huge losses. And the 8-plate Magatama kept coming. It was Uchiha Izuna, controlling his Susanoo to constantly launch them. Damn it! Reikage roared, activating his lightning chakra mode. Like a blue lightning bolt, he zipped over to the incoming 8-plate Magatama and kicked them away. The power of these things is insane, the Reikage said, shocked by the force of the 8-plate Magatama. Where are the wind-style ninjas? Anoki bellowed. Here. In a split second, multiple ninjas from the Sand Village, including Temari, began weaving hand signs and releasing their jutsu. Wind style, wind scythe jutsu. Wind style, wind killing formation. Wind style. Multiple ninjas unleashed wind-based ninjutsu simultaneously. Boom. A massive storm swept through the area, scattering the dust and mist. The powerful wind forced Uchiha Izuna's Susanoo back, making it block the wind blades with both hands while struggling to keep its footing. Now's our chance. ×8. The eight-tailed beast Jinchuriki saw their opening. They all transformed into partial-tailed beast forms and quickly charged up their tailed beast bombs. The eight-tailed beasts were working together to take down Uchiha Madara. *shum star, tailed beast bombs rained down, constantly slamming into Uchiha Izuna's blue Susanoo. Gaara even used his sand to restrain the Susanoo at the perfect moment. Damn it! Uchiha Izuna growled. Blood boil, that he activated his Mangekyō Sharingan I technique again, but that there were too many tailed beast bombs. Uchiha Izuna felt the backlash from his own I technique, and blood streamed from his eyes. The tailed beast bombs that weren't blocked, boom, boom, boom star. Finally, they all crashed into the blue Susanoo, non-stop bombardment. Explosions everywhere. Until, Susanoo, shattered. Uchiha Izuna, barely holding onto his remaining Susanoo armor, clutched his bleeding eyes and gasped for air. Seeing this. Get it now? That's the power of our ninja alliance. That the old Tsuchikage, Anoki, hovered in the sky. He immediately launched a killing move at Uchiha Izuna below. Dust style, detachment of the primitive world technique. That the immense power of the dust style, like a colossal beam, blasted Uchiha Izuna, whose eyes were still bleeding. Boom star. Soon, a vast crater appeared where the dust style attack had pulverized everything, but sorry, Madara, I'm just not strong enough. Next to Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara, Izuna was being supported by Madara, looking regretful in front of the ninjas of Konoha. The scene. What the? Everyone was shocked. Tsunade and Kakashi, Anoki, Gaara, and the Raikage. What just happened? How did Uchiha Izuna get back there? What happened just now? Anoki floated in mid-air, his hands slowly dissipating the dust-style chakra, looking utterly bewildered. Then, was that the Flying Thunder God technique? Raikage stared across the battlefield at Uchiha Madara, clearly stunned. What? Hearing this, countless ninjas in the alliance, including Anoki, Terumi Mei, Ao, Temari, and Darui, were shocked. The legendary spacetime ninjutsu created by the second Hokage of Konoha and made famous by the fourth Hokage? Gaara whispered. Impossible. There's no way Madara knows the Flying Thunder God technique. Anoki exclaimed, unable to believe it. But, at this moment, Uchiha Madara, after making sure Izuna was safe, he handed him over to Chen Yiban and then, tap. Tap, star. He walked slowly, step by step, toward the 100,000-strong ninja alliance opposite him, in his eternal Mangekyō Sharingan, murderous intent and anger burned. Next. It's my turn to deal with you. Chapter 66 Uchiha Madara vs Ninja Alliance. You are listening at novelfull.audio. There he was, Uchiha Madara, standing hundreds of feet away, facing down 100,000-strong ninja army, yet the feeling wasn't of distance, but like a deadly breeze, it was enough to send chills down the spines of even the most seasoned ninja. The legendary Uchiha Madara. The sight of Madara in his crimson armor sent a jolt of apprehension through the allied forces. Everyone knew that this entire war hinged on defeating two Madaras, but only one had shown up. The battle hadn't even started, but Madara was already radiating palpable menace. Some ninjas were so scared, they were actually praying. Anoki stared at Madara walking out alone, the sight dredging up bitter memories. His face hardened. That aura. Terumi Mei breathed. It's incredible. So this is the legend, Gaara murmured. Raikage AI scoffed, think you can take on 100,000 of us by yourself? You'll end up just like before. Madara's eyes narrowed. Just like before? Are you talking about Izuna? His eternal Mangekyō Sharingan blazed with frightening power. A roar echoed as Susanoo's first form manifested, shaking the very air. Then, a surge of eye power and chakra made Susanoo grow, evolving in stages. In seconds, a complete body Susanoo towered over the battlefield, easily 700 feet tall. The sight of the massive blue energy giant left the allied forces speechless. That's really Madara's Susanoo, just like the stories. How can we possibly beat that? The allied forces were in disbelief. they'd heard the rumors, sure, but to witness it firsthand was something else entirely. On the Konoha side, ninjas gaped. I saw something like that back in the village, but this is insane. Uchiha Sena, resurrected but still recovering, stared at Susanoo in awe. It was his first time seeing it, and he was just as stunned as everyone else. That's different, Gaara, now in his tailed beast form, said in surprise. Completely, Terumi May agreed. On the allied forces side, panic began to set in. Inoki felt like he was transported back to when he faced the original Madara, helpless. This guy was just too powerful. That power. Even Yujito, the Two-Tails Jinchuriki, now transformed, sounded shocked. Her usual cockiness vanished, replaced by pure amazement. How can we even scratch him? Reikage AI gritted his teeth, fear and frustration twisting his face. Looks like it's over, Chen Yiban chuckled, a confident smirk playing on his lips. As if on cue, the crystal on Susanoo's head shimmered, and Madara, with a single thought, had Susanoo grip the hilt of its colossal blade, ready to draw. No good. All-tailed beast Jinchuriki, stop him. Inoki bellowed. He knew the legends. Madara once cleaved Konoha in two with a single swing of that blade. If he unleashed that kind of power on the allied forces. With Susanoo's size, dust release would barely make a dent. The tailed beast Jinchuriki had to combine their power. Now, Gaara, Karabi, and the other Jinchuriki quickly began gathering their power, forming the tailed beast balls. Then, Madara spoke, ice in his voice. Disappear. That he unleashed the blade, the swing carved a monstrous gouge in the ground, and the resulting blast of energy tore towards the allied forces. Just in time, the eight-tailed beast Jinchuriki unleashed their combined tailed beast balls, meeting the energy wave head-on, but, the sword cut through the tailed beast balls, slicing them apart like paper. Susanoo's blade then slammed into the ranks of the helpless allied forces. Countless ninjas were vaporized before they could even scream. Those who were merely caught in the blast were hurled through the air, landing in bloody heaps. The tailed beast Jinchuriki, the Kage, all the leaders of the smaller villages, were sent flying, coughing up blood. One strike, and the allied forces had suffered unimaginable losses. Before them, a ravine stretched across the battlefield, a testament to Susanoo's might. Sis. Senju Naoki, still adjusting to being alive, gripped Tsunade's hand, his eyes wide with horror. Was this the man who fought his grandfather, Hashirama? Was this kind of power even possible? How many people just died? Tsunade managed a grim smile. She'd seen this move before, but its sheer destructive force still left her reeling. It was terrifying. Even the combined attacks of the eight-tailed beast Jinchuriki were brushed aside like nothing. Susanoo, complete body, the power to dominate the tailed beasts and obliterate everything in its path. What's wrong? Is that all you got? Shall we keep dancing? Madara's voice, amplified by Susanoo, echoed across the battlefield. The eight-tailed beast Jinchuriki and the Kage struggled to their feet, battered and bruised, staring up at the 700-foot-tall behemoth with a mix of awe and dread. Chapter 67, The Art of Psychic Heretic Golem. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Asshole, you idiot. Karabi, now in his tailed beast form, stood tall and unleashed another tailed beast bomb at the arrogant Madara Uchiha and his Susanoo. Madara, unfazed, calmly directed his Susanoo to swat away the incoming blast with its blade. Swing, star, the tailed beast bomb was sliced open instantly, exploding in a massive mid-air burst. Damn it, Inoki, Mei Terumi, the Reikage, and the others watched the seemingly invincible Susanoo with frustration. The Reikage, with his mastery of lightning release chakra mode, and Inoki, with his dust release, were particularly incensed. Yet, against the complete Susanoo, they were practically helpless. Is he even human? Why am I so weak? The ninjas on the battlefield began to question everything they'd worked for, faced with the Susanoo's overwhelming power. Dust release, particle-style jutsu. Still unwilling to give up, Inoki soared into the air and launched his signature move at the massive Susanoo, but as the beam of dust release energy shot forth, clang, star, Susanoo slashed again with its sword. The terrifying blade of light utterly decimated Inoki's attack in an instant. If Gaara hadn't used his sand to pull Inoki back, the old man would have been killed in the air. The Susanoo's sword flashed overhead, and the coalition ninjas felt a strong Gust of wind that stung their faces, this power. This is a nightmare. I gotta be dreaming. Some of the ninjas in the coalition began to lose their grip on reality. Meanwhile, clang thud, star, Susanoo advanced towards the ninja coalition. Each step it took ratcheted up the despair felt by the allied shinobi forces. Ninjas and samurai from the 4 great nations and various smaller lands watched the giant Susanoo lumber closer. Step by step, they were consumed by a sense of hopelessness and dread. Against this Susanoo that could slice through even a tailed beast bomb. What could they possibly do? They were powerless. Eat this. My 8 tails beast bomb barrage. Suddenly, Kurabi, in his 8 tails form, unleashed a desperate attack. He wrapped himself in tentacles and began to spin rapidly. Boom. A massive sandstorm erupted, surging towards Susanoo. The sheer force made Madara, inside Susanoo, pause for a moment. His view was obscured by the swirling sand. Lava release, quicklime jutsu. Times N. Led by Kuratsuchi, the Iwagakure ninjas with lava release simultaneously unleashed their Kekiai Genkai. A cloud of gray-white, lime-like substance appeared. Water release. Immediately after, Meitarumi and the Kirigakure ninjas released their water release techniques. Whoosh, a deluge of water combined with the quicklime, surging past the giant blue Susanoo under the cover of the 8-tails sandstorm. Fire release. Then, they baked it to set it solid. For a moment, Susanoo's movements seemed to be restricted. Tailed beast bomb. Finally, the 7-tailed beasts worked together to create a supersized tailed beast bomb as their ultimate attack. They fired it directly at Susanoo. The tailed beast bomb, as massive as a small moon, was only slightly smaller than Susanoo's complete body. It was a terrifying sight. Humph. Madara Uchiha scoffed. One of Susanoo's hands broke free from the solidified lime seal and swung the Susanoo sword. Clang. The blade of light hurtled forward. It was set to cleave the tailed beast bomb in 2. Dust release, particle-style jutsu. At the last second, Inoki flew skyward again, unleashing dust release to counter the blade of light. He was trying to neutralize the blow. Similarly, Gaara used his sand to divert the Susanoo's blade. Though it didn't completely negate the attack, it changed the angle of the sword beam. With a swoosh, the beam of light flew off harmlessly into the distance. The supersized tailed beast bomb was now heading straight for Susanoo. Madara could have dodged it with Flying Thunder God or some other technique. Instead, Madara's eternal Mangekyō Sharingan gleamed with excitement. He raised Susanoo's arms directly up. Boom. The next moment, a world-shattering explosion erupted. The desert shook violently. Brother. Izuna Uchiha said worriedly. Don't worry, Izuna. That guy won't even get a scratch from that attack. Tobirama Senju said. Nonsense. Uchiha Madara hasn't even used the Rinnegan yet. He's just playing around, but I guess he's about to get serious. Aside, Tsunade, Kakashi, Kurenai Yuhi, Enko Mitarashi, Shikaka Nara, and the other Konoha ninja all hoped Madara would die, but they didn't want Madara to die right now. Because who knows, if one Madara dies, will the other class also die? Asuma, Hei and Akai haven't been resurrected yet. Even if Madara wants to die, he can't die at this time. Therefore, everyone in Konoha felt very complicated. Also, this attack, the power is terrifying. The entire desert seemed to be shaking violently with mushroom clouds appearing. Is Uchiha Madara still alive? Wind release. After the ninjas on both sides used wind release to disperse the smoke, they saw a huge blue figure in a super huge pothole. It is indeed the complete form of Susanoo. It's just that the huge body has some battle damage. However, Madara Uchiha in Susanoo's body was indeed safe and sound. Ha! Not bad. Madara Uchiha sneered. Susanoo began to dissipate bit by bit. However, this game ends now. After Uchiha Madara said this again, clang, a pair of lavender Rinnegan appeared in his eyes. That is the legendary Rinnegan of the Sage of Six Paths. That bastard Madara actually has those eyes. Inoki stared at Madara Uchiha's eyes in disbelief. Is he thinking about the Rinnegan again? Tsunade thought, but Summoning Jutsu, Demonic Statue of the Outer Path. Chapter 68 The Eight-Tailed Beasts Enter the Demon's Belly. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Psychic Technique, Heretic Golem. Madara Uchiha slammed his hand on the ground, muttering under his breath. Psychic runes erupted from his palm, spreading rapidly until, clang pop, a massive cloud of white mist billowed out from behind Madara. Roar! A deafening roar echoed across the desert. As the smoke cleared, ninjas on both sides saw, towering behind Madara Uchiha, a colossal humanoid figure, resembling a gnarled, dead tree, was summoned, roaring at the sky. It's the Heretic Golem. The empty husk of the Ten Tails. Looks like the endgame's finally here, Chen Yiban said with a faint smile. Seeing the Heretic Golem summoned, he knew things would come to a head quickly. What is that thing? Everyone on the Konoha side, from Izuna and Tsunade, to Kakashi and Kurenai, and the 100,000-strong ninja alliance troops of Inoki, Terumi Mei, and Reikage, all stared, surprised and bewildered by the Heretic Golem. What kind of monster was that? Anything summoned by someone like Madara Uchiha had to be incredibly dangerous. And that hulking, deadwood giant was terrifying to look at. This is bad. It's that thing. Damn it, Madara actually summoned that. The Rinnegan, with the Rinnegan, Madara can summon that monster? No way. I don't want to get sucked back in. The eight-tailed beasts roared in unison, recognizing the Heretic Golem for what it was, the empty shell of the Ten Tails. They could guess Madara's next move, collecting all the tailed beasts into the Heretic Golem, and even, becoming the Ten Tails Jinchuriki. Does Eight Tails know what that bastard Madara summoned? Reikage asked Kurabi, glancing over at him. Inoki, Terumi Mei, and the others looked on, wanting answers. Yo, fool, Hachi says it's the Ten Tails shell, for real. Says Motormouth wants to bring back the Ten Tails, collecting all 9-tailed beasts. Feel the steel. Kurabi blurted, his rap cadence a little off. What? Kurabi's shock was echoed in everyone else's faces. 10 tails. Inoki exclaimed, was there something above the 9-tailed beasts? Could the 10 tails be resurrected by gathering them? And that monster Madara summoned was actually the empty shell of the 10 tails. The realization sent a shockwave through the Ninja Alliance troops who knew the legend. Then, Madara spoke. I once told Kurama that you tailed beasts are simply chakra fragments, scattered and alone. And now, I, Madara, will bring you back together. Standing before the Heretic Golem, Madara sneered arrogantly. Dream on. Gaara, partially transformed into Shikaku, roared at Madara. The eight-tailed beasts glared warily at Madara and the Golem. Ha! Madara smirked. He leaped onto the head of the Heretic Golem. Limbo, Hengoku. Zheng, his Rinnegan blazed, radiating an eerie power. What's he doing? The Ninja Alliance and the eight-tailed beasts watched anxiously, unsure what Madara had done. Then, bang. Shikaku was suddenly struck, collapsing. Bang bang. Son Goku and Kokuo fell next. Finally, bang 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 bang. Arg. ×8. The eight-tailed beasts were all knocked down by unseen, unfelt entities. /div for a moment, the tailed beasts couldn't even stand. Gaara. Inoki, Reikage, Temari, Kankuro and others stared in disbelief at the fallen tailed beasts. What happened? Terumi Mei felt a chill run down her spine. He attacked. And they collapsed without even feeling it. Was the legendary Madara Uchiha even human? Madara, unfazed, said. Well, time to put on your necklaces, beasts. His Rinnegan blazing, Madara's eyes gleamed with manic excitement. Zheng. He commanded the Golem looming behind him. Suddenly, .8 chakra chains shot from the Golem's mouth. They snared the necks of the fallen tailed beasts, no exceptions. Without pausing, they were yanked back. Before the Ninja Alliance could even react, swish, Shikaku was ripped from Gaara's body. He was swallowed into the Golem's maw. Gaara, robbed of his Ichibi, hung limp in the air. His heart stopped, his life force was fading fast. Gaara. Temari and Kankuro screamed, Gaara was no longer the bloodthirsty Jinchuriki he once was, he was the Kazekage, and their younger brother. But now, Gaara had lost his tailed beast, and that meant death for a Jinchuriki. Still, the chakra chains continued to pull the tailed beasts. Yujito, that the second target was the two tails, Reikage, tried to intervene. But, bang! The Reikage, cloaked in his lightning chakra mode, was struck by the unseen attack. He vomited blood and was sent flying. Brother! Kurabi cried out, but he felt helpless. Lord Reikage! Omoi and the others rushed to Reikage's aid, and the two tails, was pulled from Yujito and swallowed by the golem. The Reikage roared in fury. Next, three tails. Lava style, melting apparition technique. Terumi May activated her lava release Kekiai Genkai, trying to melt the golem's chakra chains, but it barely worked. Storm release. Darui unleashed his storm release, trying to destroy the chains binding eight tails. He was also unable to break them. And as other ninjas tried to fight back, some invisible force blocked and neutralized every attack. One by one. 3 tails, 4 tails, 5, 6, 7, they were all swallowed by the golem. The Jinchuriki were fading fast, until the last one, 8 tails. B. Reikage shouted. Yo, fool! Kurabi was being dragged toward the golem's gullet, he couldn't resist. Dust release. Detachment of the primitive world technique. Anoki summoned every ounce of chakra in his body, performing his dust release technique, but, some unseen entity blocked and absorbed the blast. Finally. Eight tails was also swallowed by the golem. Excellent. Let's get started. My other half. Madara turned to face Chen Yiban, they exchanged a knowing look and smiled, then. Psychic Jutsu. Chapter 69 Ten Tails. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Later, I saw Chen Yiban jump to the side of Madara Uchiha and the demonic statue of the outer path, then. Summoning Jutsu, Chen Yiban slammed his hand on the ground, clang whoosh, another huge cloud of white mist erupted on the battlefield. What's he doing now? The capture of the 8-tailed beasts, and the constant surprises, was panicking the allied shinobi forces. Seeing Chen Yiban use his summoning jutsu again, countless ninjas were terrified. The legendary ninja Madara Uchiha was just too powerful. Compared to Izuna Uchiha, who'd come out to challenge them earlier, he was on a whole other level. Izuna was strong, especially with his blood Qifei technique, but still, Madara was different. Limbo, border jail, countless shinobi in the allied forces couldn't even get close enough to save the tailed beasts because they were being blocked by something they couldn't see. Without the Rinnegan or Six Paths power, they couldn't perceive or attack the Limbo clones, yet, the shadows of the Limbo clones could attack them. Totally unfair. The allied shinobi forces were deeply afraid of Madara Uchiha. The morale Anoki and the others had initially inspired was fading fast. Roar, the white mist cleared, followed by an ear-splitting roar. Multiple tails thrashed, scattering the remaining dust. That's the Nine Tails. Anoki and the allied shinobi forces were stunned to see that Chen Yiban had summoned the nine-tailed beast. The Nine Tails had become his summoning beast. And if you add the Nine Tails, doesn't that mean all 9-tailed beasts were gathered? What the 8 tails had been talking about, the so-called 10 tails, could it be that an actual ninja world was about to appear? Madara, as soon as the 9 tails appeared, it roared, ready to attack Chen Yiban. Zing, Chen Yiban's scarlet Mangekyō Sharingan locked onto the 9 tails, stopping it in its tracks. Its raised claws didn't even get a chance to fall. You bastard, Madara. The 9 tails growled through gritted teeth, quickly. What? The 9 tails spotted the demonic statue of the outer path nearby and recoiled in shock. Madara, what are you planning? The 9 tails was frantic. Ha! Madara Uchiha, standing atop the demonic statue, chuckled coldly before Chen Yiban could answer. 9 tails. I've said it before, you're just a scattered piece of chakra. Now, it's up to us two to reunite the 9-tailed beasts into one. To become the 10 tails. Madara Uchiha's eyes gleamed with manic excitement. Stop joking. You're insane, Madara. The Ninetales' eyes widened in disbelief. Humph. Madara Uchiha sneered arrogantly, then, **zing, star, with a thought, he slowly formed a hand seal, and the demonic statue immediately unleashed the chakra chains from its mouth again. Instantly, they snared the Ninetales by the neck. It intended to devour the Ninetales just as it had swallowed the 8-tailed beasts. Seeing this. Stop him, now. We can't let it swallow the Ninetales. No telling what'll happen, Inoki shouted in alarm. No one knew what the Ten-Tails even was, and Inoki definitely didn't want it to materialize in this world. Whoosh, *.2 massive hands of sand shot out, grabbing the chakra chains about to capture the Ninetales. It was Gaara. Huh. Chen Yiban and Madara Uchiha frowned. The one-tailed Shikaku had been swallowed by the demonic statue, so how was Gaara still alive? Chen Yiban then noticed an old figure among the allied forces who had clearly passed away, and he finally understood. Granny Chiyo. It seemed like the original story. Chiyo had just used the reanimation jutsu, sacrificing herself to save Gaara. Fire style. Lightning style. Wind style. That the allied shinobi forces relentlessly unleashed a barrage of ninjutsu at the two Madara Uchihas. They had to prevent the Ninetales from being devoured. But. Heh. It's useless, Chen Yiban chuckled coldly. Then. Wood style, deep forest emergence, forming seals to release the ninjutsu. The next second, rumble, countless gigantic trees burst through the sand and lunged at the allied shinobi forces like colossal pythons. How can he use wood style? Inoki exclaimed in shock. Grandpa's wood style, how could he? Tsunade was equally surprised, then realized that she had transplanted some of Chen Yiban's flesh and blood into him. Among them was the flesh and blood of her grandfather, Hashirama Senju. This guy. Tsunade felt rage and helplessness. Chen Yiban, already formidable, now possessed even her grandfather Hashirama Senju's power. The legendary first Hokage. The allied shinobi forces watched in stunned silence as the massive wood style easily overwhelmed their ninjutsu. Then. The wood style first crushed the shinobi in front into paste, then, utilizing its unique properties, the trees absorbed their chakra, growing larger and stronger with each victim, killed 3,564 allied shinobi, awarded the basic achievement lottery, 356 spins. Killed Kirigakure Ninja AO, awarded a medium achievement lottery. Killed Cloud Village Ninjas Omoi and Mabui. Killed Sand Village Ninjas Maki and Kankuro. Slain, the Ninja Alliance, was taking heavy losses. Gaara and Temari saw Kankuro die under the wood release. Their eyes were unbelievable. Hang in there, old man. Kuratsuchi pulled Inoki from the rubble. The little old man was still breathing, though barely. Just now, Inoki had spent his last reserves of chakra to activate particle style, but it was useless. The wood style trees were too numerous and too vast. There was nothing particle style could do, especially with so little chakra remaining in Inoki. Elsewhere, *WOO, the Ninetales was gone. The Ten-Tails opened all its eyes and howled at the sky. The sound was horrifyingly shrill. The Ninetales, has been. Inoki, Terumi Mei, Reikage, Gaara, and the others got to their feet and stared at the demonic statue of the outer path, now looking up to the sky and howling in despair. Chapter 70 Ten-Tails Sacred Treat Bud Sage Mode. You are listening at novelfull.audio. Ouch, the heretic demon statue wailed with all its eyes wide open, a truly sorrowful sound for a battlefield. The roar, like some beast escaped from hell, sent a chill down everyone's spine, and then, almost immediately, the heretic demon began to evolve, transforming rapidly. It was happening. The creature was becoming the original Ten-Tails, or rather, the sacred tree in its original form. Here we go, Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara said, excitement gleaming in their eyes. Finally, roar. Dust billowed as the Ten-Tails appeared in its initial form, a monstrous beast with 10 huge tails waving slowly. That's the Ten-Tails. The battlefield went silent, whether it was Tsunade and Kakashi on the Konoha side, or Inoki, Gaara, and the rakeage from the allied shinobi forces. Everyone was frozen in terror. That chakra, it's unbelievable. Countless ninjas were overwhelmed by the sheer power radiating from the Ten-Tails. They were helpless with fear. This chakra, it was unreal. Yeah. ×2. The two Uchiha Madaras exchanged a nod. Instantly, they leapt to the top of the Ten-Tails in its first state. Zheng. Using the power of the Rinnegan, they began to control the beast in its initial state. Suddenly, two trunk-like sections of the Ten-Tails body connected to Chen Yiban's and Uchiha Madara's backs. The Ten-Tails was now completely under their control. Nissan. Uchiha Senna, watching from the Konoha ranks, looked at his two older brothers with admiration. Them. What are they planning? Tsunade, Kakashi, Inoki, Meiterumi, everyone watched the two Uchiha Madaras on the Ten-Tails head with rapt attention. Who could even think of fighting at this point? Forget the Ten-Tails plus two Uchiha Madaras, they couldn't even beat one Uchiha Madara. The rakeage flushed with embarrassment, remembering how he'd boasted that even 10 Uchiha Madaras couldn't stand against the allied shinobi forces. Damn it! The rakeage felt a surge of frustration. The enemy's power was simply too much. Karabi, Yujito, and all the cloud ninjas who had fallen to would release. The rakeage couldn't even begin to imagine how to avenge them. The enemy was inhumanly strong. Gaara, Temari, and the others felt the same. They wanted to avenge the fallen, but didn't dare risk a move. Everyone stared in awe at the ten-tailed monster. Meanwhile, the two Uchiha Madaras poured their power into the Ten-Tails in its initial state. Soon, the Ten-Tails evolved again. Whoosh, starred at a massive tree trunk sprouted from its back. A bud slowly emerged at the top, reaching towards the sky, not yet blooming. What is that? Inoki stared at the evolving Ten-Tails, horrified. Everyone felt it. Disturbance. A gnawing unease. Except for the two Uchiha Madaras, almost no one knew what was coming next, and that was what terrified them the most. The power radiating from the Ten-Tails' massive body grew more terrifying by the second, when Chen Yiban and Uchiha Madara saw that the bud hadn't bloomed. Looks like the incomplete Nine-Tails isn't enough to make the flowers bloom immediately. Chen Yiban pinpointed the problem. This is your fault. Uchiha Madara snapped, seizing the opportunity to complain about his other self. Even though Chen Yiban's power still surpassed his own. Humph. Uchiha Madara glared at the 6-tomo Rinnegan in Chen Yiban's eyes and scowled. But it doesn't matter. I can wait a little longer. Chen Yiban said. It'll bloom eventually. Those so-called allied shinobi forces can't stop our plans. Chen Yiban smiled faintly, dismissing the ninja alliance with a contemptuous glance. We can do something, too. We can use our power to make it bloom and bear fruit faster. Uchiha Madara said, eager to speed up the sacred tree's flowering. Our power? Chen Yiban blinked, then smiled. If you use too much power, you might not be able to suppress the Ten-Tails later. Wait, are you talking about natural energy? Chen Yiban finally understood, turning to Madara in surprise. Sage mode. Madara Uchiha clasped his hands together, *Sheng, * he entered Sage mode instantly. A golden seal appeared on his face. Then, *boom, * he continuously absorbed natural energy, sending it to the Ten-Tails through the wooden tubes on his back. Not bad. Chen Yiban said, then. Sage mode. *Sheng, * he entered Sage mode as well. The two Uchiha Madaras drew power from the earth and air, then, they channeled it into the Ten-Tails and the divine tree. And so, fed by the constant flow of natural energy, the Ten-Tails grew larger and larger. Evolution. The bud at the top was beginning to bloom little by little. The eye of the moon, it was slowly being released. The two Uchiha Madaras weren't burning through their own chakra, but steadily powering the Ten-Tails' sacred tree through the natural energy they absorbed, watching the scene unfold. Aren't we going to do something? Gaara, watching the Ten-Tails evolve and the sacred tree's bud bloom, couldn't help but speak up. Its chakra, like its body, is still growing, Meiterumi said, stunned, the power of the Kage meant nothing before the legendary Ten Tails. Everyone! We have to stop those two Uchiha Madaras. Inoki stood tall and called out to the allied ninja forces behind him. The Ten Tails' power is too great. We can't let it complete its evolution, it would be too dangerous. Inoki, almost out of chakra, could only offer a few words of encouragement. Swish, Uchiha Izuna, who had been resting, stepped forward, blocking the path to the Ten Tails. Don't disturb the two Nissans. Uchiha Izuna activated his Mangekyō Sharingan. You think you can stop 100,000 allied shinobi? The Raikage roared, stepping forward. Rage still simmered in his heart after the deaths of Kurabi and so many cloud ninjas, but then. Swish, 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 figures appeared one after another, standing alongside Uchiha Izuna. It was Tsunade, Kakashi, Kurenai Yuhi, Enko Mitarashi from Konoha, along with Nagato, Konan, Deidara, and other powerful members of Akatsuki. If you want to get to the two bosses, you have to get through me first, HM. Deidara said with a smile, holding up a piece of explosive clay. You little brat. Inoki snarled, itching for a fight.